And you were a member of the Stop It program?
Oh, I'm a graduate of the Stop It program.
When you originally came to the Stop It program, you were dealing with certain issues in your life. Can you briefly share what was going on?
I had a few things, being brief is a little difficult, but a few things going on. One was a few months before I found out about the Stop It program, someone did a teaching on anger, and I didn't think I had an anger problem because I always equated anger with violence, and I'm not a violent person. And so that changed my the way I was thinking about anger and realizing that I do have anger in my life. So that was one thing. A mentor of mine, in quite an abusive way, was tended to tell me a lot that I had emotional problems and I needed to figure them out and deal with them. So I just never felt that I had emotions, that there was something wrong with me, that I was either angry, happy, sad, and that was like the extent of my emotions, and I didn't think I had emotions. So when I came, that was a big thing for me that I wanted to learn about because I didn't think I had any.
And how did your behavior affect your family, friends, work?
I don't believe it affected my work, and with family, I was married. When I started the program, I was married about two and a half, going on 3 years, and I found myself reverting back into childhood situations where I felt threatened, and many times that turned into wrestling matches with my wife where we'd get into fights. So sometimes there was a little bit of a reactionary type behaviors that would come out. So we'd get into arguments, and I also tended to be bossy, be demanding on people. So that was something to where I guess some people felt threatened in a way by me, or they just didn't want to do what I wanted them to do because I was being a boss and telling them.
So you were the controlling type?
Yes, controlling, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So what was the most challenging thing for you to learn when you came to the Stop It program?
Oh, the whole program was very challenging. One thing that was definitely a challenge for me was talking about me, using I instead of you. So I was always used to saying you, even when I was talking about me and referring to situations about myself. So that was a challenge, saying I and talking about me and my situations instead of saying you.
So what did you learn in order to be able to stay in your power and maintain your self-control?
Well, the first thing I learned was that there is a such thing as staying in your power, and I never even really heard of the concept before, and I never realized that I was losing my power. I was giving my power away. So the first thing that I learned was about being able to stay in my power and not let myself go out of control. So, I mean, really, it was the core steps that were taught as part of the program that really helped me, so I could identify what it was that I was feeling in my body, and letting that be a signal for me that something's happening that I don't feel is right, that I don't like, and then using that to make a decision of what is it that I feel that is not right and what's wrong, and then deciding on what is it that I want. So being able to take a step back, sometimes that means that I need to stop holding my breath and tensing up, but to breathe and think about what is it that I want in this situation right now, and then how to progress to move towards that. So a specific situation that happened to where I was able to feel that I stayed in control of myself and what was happening. I really have, I've had a broken relationship with my dad for, I can't even remember, 20 plus years. And he was in some difficult situations and in and out of drugs and alcohol and living on the street and doing all kinds of things. And one day he had called me, and I just really didn't care to talk to him. And I think I'm going to sneeze.
That's okay.
Called, left me a voicemail, and I listened to the voicemail, and I really didn't care to call him back and talk to him. It just has been a hurtful relationship, and I just decided a long time ago that I didn't want to be hurt anymore. And this is why I'm in the program in my first 10 weeks, and using the what I've learned in the program, I went ahead and called him because one of the things that I've had a problem with, that I've dealt with, is just feeling safe. Because of circumstances in my life and childhood, I just didn't feel safe very often, and I also didn't feel that I was okay. But in the program, I learned that I'm not in a situation of danger. I'm not going to be hurt. That yes, I can feel safe and call my dad, and also that yes, I am okay. And so I called him, and we talked on the phone for a few minutes, and he wanted to just start like, oh, let me tell you some jokes. And I had to say, hold on a second. I was like, we haven't really talked very much over the last 20 or so years, haven't had much of a relationship. I can't just, start off like everything's okay and nothing's ever happened in our life. And so he said, okay, I understand, that's fine. And I told him, I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, there's been a lot of hurtful things you've done to me, and I don't know what to do about them, and I don't know how to deal with them. And so he said, well, whatever it is, whatever I've done, I know I've done a lot of things that you can talk to me about it. I'm fine with that. And he shared with me about how he tried doing the same thing with his dad, and his dad just completely rejected him and said he's never ever done anything to him, and just really hurt him. And he did the complete opposite with me, just being accepting, which was a very difficult thing. It's difficult to I don't know, it just brings up a lot of emotions when I feel that. Because there's been a lot of shame messages in my life. So that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
With me just needing to feel safe and feel okay. And
Okay.
About you staying in your power. That is a perfect example.
right.
And how did you feel after the conversation with your dad? How did you feel about yourself?
Well, during the conversation, like I said, he wanted to talk about some jokes he had written, and there were needs, and I felt in my body just the risk that I was taking, the potential of I could have been rejected, but I had needs, I had emotional needs that I needed to be able to say, hold on here, I can't just, I can't just do this. And so it was very freeing. It was like the start of a new relationship with my dad that we've never had, and never, because there's been a lot of abuse, and so I've never been able to just be able to say what I felt. I mean, that's just not something I've ever been able to do. It was very freeing for me to be able to do that, and to be accepted and not rejected.
So TJ, looking at this video, who's dealing with the situation, similar issues that you've dealt with, what can you say to that person who wants to know about the program?
Well, I mean, definitely, I've said this during the program that this is the best thing that I've ever done. I've been to lots of different counselors and psychologists and even seen psychiatrists or whatever. This has been absolutely the best thing that I've ever done. I've gotten more help out of this program than, I mean, all the counseling I've ever been to. And I've spent a lot of money. I mean, like, a lot of it was insurance, but still I had to pay like $50 for a copay or whatever, or $25. But out of all the money I've ever spent, I didn't get very much. And here in this program, I've learned so much, and it just like totally transformed me. One of the things that I came in with was I just thought I didn't have emotions, and what I found out was that there wasn't anything wrong with me. And it's just that I didn't have the emotional literacy. I didn't have the words to be able to put with what I was feeling. And that was it. That's all I needed. Like, oh, so I'm feeling this. That means I'm afraid. Or I'm feeling this. And that means that I'm panicking. Or that's all I needed was someone to be able to say, help me put words to what's happening in my body and what's going on with my emotions. And that's all. And if it wasn't for this program, I wouldn't be able to identify with my dad and why he has gone through just such traumatic things. And if he had a program like this, when he went through what he went through, a lot of fear and a lot of stuff, I would probably have a different life today because he was a different person. But by me being here and changing me, I've already started impacting my dad and making a change with him. But if I didn't have this program, I would still today probably not talk to my dad. Just not wanting to deal with him. And I didn't know this at the time he called, but a year ago he almost died. And that was a total life transformation for him. He decided that he can't keep going the way that he was going. And he really was a different person. And so now that's why we can have a better relationship and we can talk. And my relationship with my wife is so much better because now that I know emotions, she speaks in emotional words. And before I'm like, I didn't get it. I didn't identify with it. I didn't understand. But now I can understand what she's going through. And I can sit there and watch the stages of emotions that she goes through that we all go through. And I can help her get through that. And I can walk her through it like I was walked through in the program. And that breaks down fights so many times, stops them from happening. And at times like I said, things would happen and we'd start like wrestling around physically or whatever, or just sometimes yell at each other or just be angry with each other. And a lot of that has just completely gone away because of what I've learned in this program.